Hello, Facebook viewers. It's me, Jamie, with the San Antonio Aquarium. And we are here with our black and white lemurs and one of our lemur trainers here, Miss Grace. Now, before we get started with everything, we do Facebook Live giveaways, okay? So we are going to do we're going to do 4 adamant ones into the aquarium and 4 lemur encounters, okay? But just so you are aware, you must be 6 years or older to participate, all right? Now, how do you enter to win? You simply ask us a question during our Facebook Live feed, and at that time, before we wrap things up, we'll select a lucky winner. So, ask away. So here again, these are our black and white red ruffed lemurs. Ms. Grace, do you have any cool facts about them?
Yeah, so all lemur species actually have 2 tongues. There's the top one, the one that you would normally think about as a tongue, used for talking and eating food and all that good stuff. And then they have the bottom one, which is directly attached to the top tongue. It's shaped kind of like a triangle, and it's made all of like a hard material.
So basically, it's used for grooming, right? It's almost like a personal hairbrush or comb that you carry around in your mouth. But it works, right? Yeah. They actually, we don't really have to bathe them because they clean each other so well, groom each other with their tongues. Now, let's talk about encounters. How do we do public encounters here at the aquarium?
Yeah, so we can have up to 8 people in this particular encounter. Like Jamie said, everybody does have to be 6 years old and up. Ages 6 to 8 do have to be with a paid adult. And what you do is we give you guys all the rules. Y'all come in and you can pet them with 2 fingers on the back from the base of the neck down to the tail. Now, we don't allow guests to touch the tail just because there is pheromones on the tail. And we don't really want to mess up with their chemical smell.
Okay. So what are pheromones?
So pheromones are kind of this really cool, it's kind of like a chemical Facebook. It tells who they are, what their favorite food is.
So these guys are kind of... Well, they very much use scent glands, right? So they're kind of stinky lemurs, but they really don't smell bad, but they just mark really everything.
Yeah, so these guys, they're pretty cool. They also have something called a Jacobson organ, which allows them to have a really, really good sense of smell. A lot of different mammals have it, dogs, cats, all that good stuff. Anything really with a wet nose, which actually sets these guys apart from monkeys and apes and us, because those guys, they don't have wet noses, so... These guys are not monkeys at all.
No. We do get monkeys a lot, but they are related. Yeah? So these guys are primates. They're from Madagascar, and these guys are critically endangered, okay? You're looking at less than 1,000 left in the wild. So we do have quite an amazing breeding program right here at the San Antonio Aquarium. Their closest relatives are what? The red ruffed lemurs, and we have them actually upstairs. Right when you come in through admissions, where you can hang out with those guys too. We actually have 3 different species of lemur here at the San Antonio Aquarium. We have our infamous ringtail lemur, King Julian, and then we have our red ruffed lemurs and our black and white lemurs. So you can visit them all here. Now, are these guys domesticated?
No. So domestication is just genetically altering for human purpose, which think dog to wolf, right? So these guys, it takes multiple generations, up to like 15 generations to even see domestication traits.
So what's a domesticated trait?
So they actually did a study at Cornell in, I believe, the 90s, and they actually showed the floppy ears in foxes. Floppy ears, the floppy demeanor, the waggly tail, all that stuff is shown to be a domesticated trait. So you're not going to find that stuff in the wild. You're not going to find a full-blood wolf having those traits, but anything like a hybrid wolf might have that floppy demeanor, those floppy ears, the waggly tail, anything that you really would see in like a poodle or a husky.
Oh my goodness. Do we have any questions yet?
Yes. How many do we have?
We have 9.
8.
We have 8?
Yes,
yeah,
we have 8 black and white, 9 red, and 10 ringtail. 8, 9, 10.
What do these guys eat?
Well, so they're frugivores. So
these guys can eat just about any fruit except for citrus, of course. I don't really think you're going to find that very much in Madagascar.
no.
But these guys are also capable of eating multiple leaf species. So there's actually about 100 different types of plant species that they're able to eat. Now your more geriatric and pregnant lemurs are going to be the ones eating those leaves, but these guys are also natural pollinators too. So they stick their head.
They're the number one pollinator, right?
Yeah,
You think
in
bees
Madagascar.
and things like that, but these guys are literally the number one pollinator.
Yeah.
Could you go into a little bit more detail about how they actually are the biggest pollinators?
So on this guy, this beautiful ruff right here. So this is actually their trademark, the best lemur. And so what they'll do is they'll stick their head into the flower. They'll come up with a whole bunch of pollen, kind of like how a bee does. And they'll get all up and down right here, and then they'll go actually to another flower, and they'll do the same thing. And that's actually how flowers reproduce. Now, of course, you'll get the other pollinators that can eat the seeds and, defecate the seeds out, which
Spreads it.
But what makes a true pollinator is when they actually use the nectar or pollen to pollen,
How long do they live?
These guys can live up to about 20, 25 years-ish. It's a little bit less than the ringtails, but it's probably just because they're a little bit bigger. In the wild, it's about 15-ish years, but in captivity, it's about 17 to 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Why do
which is
guests
pretty
need to be 6 and up?
It's USDA.
Yeah, it's a USDA policy, so USDA makes all the rules based on what they are capable of, and it's just safety. You guys are asking really good questions.
Can they see in color?
Yeah, so these guys only have 2 cones, whereas we have 3 cones. Their cones are not deformed, that's the wrong word, but a little bit, not as sturdy, I guess, as ours. I don't really know the right ophthalmology terms. But these guys have a little bit trouble seeing reds, and I believe blues as well.
So they don't see the same coloration though.
Yeah, but they can see UVs,
Yeah.
which I read a cool article the other
How
day.
many babies do they have in one pregnancy?
These guys can actually have up to 6. However, the most typical is 2 to 3. The ringtails can only have about 1 to 2. 2 being a decently rare.
No.
Yeah.
What is their gestational period?
It's about 95 to about 115 days, but it's typical for it to be about 102, 103.
And what are our age ranges on our lemurs?
Age ranges are anywhere from 6 months here to about up to best guess is about 3 to 4 years. However, they'll reach sexual maturity or puberty at about 2 to 3 years. And so, we'll see that in December, January.
What would be considered full size?
Full size is actually this lovely gentleman over here. I call him Toothless. However, we have not determined a proper name for him. He is roughly about 7 to 8 pounds, and we do have Chicle over here. That's what a lot of the keepers are calling her because she sticks to us like gum. And she's roughly about 7 pounds right now. That's pretty typical for them.
Yeah. 7, 9 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the question. What are their tails used for?
Their tails are used for a counterbalance. So in some of the ringtails, they have scent glands right here. Now these guys don't really have scent glands a lot of the places because they're not used for that as much at least. They do have scent glands in their butt, just like dogs and a lot of other things. But these guys are primarily counterbalance. So it's kind of like when you put your arms out for a balance beam, right? You like lean to the left, lean to the right, so you don't fall off, right? So these guys use the same thing.
Yeah, as they jump from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree.
What is a group of lemurs called?
A conspiracy, that's my favorite thing. A troop, more or less, but conspiracy is the fun one.
Do you have a favorite one?
Oh man, buddy. I really like Chicle, however, this lovely gentleman, he's speaking to my heart right now. He's just really... So here you actually get to learn all their personalities, right? So most places you don't really get that physical interaction, you don't get that, one-on-one, I guess you can say. But here we actually get to learn their personalities very, very well.
Bond.
We definitely get to bond with them and stuff in a way that really no other facility allows you to. And that's just one of the perks of either being here. Robert, move this way. Move that, you're getting peed on. Sorry about that. But you definitely get to learn their personality. So she's very, very much a cuddler. And she's one of the only ones that's been doing this since day one. And they definitely like their armpit stretch, which is definitely a trait for the ruffed lemurs, who are way more friendly. This guy's, he's more of a shy guy, but he's definitely breaking out of his shell, which is kind of cool.
Any other questions?
Where do they originate from?
These guys are Madagascar.
Yeah, most lemurs are Madagascar.
Yeah, these guys are from all up and down the East Coast, so unlike their cousins, the red ruffed lemurs, those guys are found in what's called the Musqueam Peninsula. It's the northeastern part, and it's separated by a lake. No idea what that lake's called because it's really hard to pronounce. But these guys, they would never meet in the wild due to that lake. So these guys aren't swimmers at all, and the length is way too far for them to jump. However, if they were to mate, they could actually have a offspring, which is fairly rare for a lot of other animal species.
Are your gloves necessary to be in here?
I am really weird about feels and fruit juices on my hands. No, so I mean we can, barehand it, but I don't like fruit juice all up and down my nails. I'm really weird about that.
We have a few people who have seen Pom Pom.
Pom Pom. I like Pom Pom. So what do y'all want to know about Pom Pom?
We asked her about her tail.
Her tail. So Miss Jamie, that's all you.
Well, Pom Pom came to us like that. So we can only draw conclusions as to maybe why that happened, but it did not happen in our care whatsoever. But right now, all we know is that it doesn't affect her well-being whatsoever. She actually has hair growing back on that, and she is super friendly and likes to get into everything. So all I can assume is maybe she got into something in her former place.
But she's one of the nicer, littler ones, I guess, if you will. She likes to hang all up on us.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of guests that have mentioned they want to thank you for your knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
That's about it.
All right, you guys, ask some hard questions. Maybe.
Maybe.
You want to go over the cost of the encounter? People are asking that.
Yeah, so a typical encounter is 4 tokens per person. Like we mentioned before, everybody does have to be 6 and up. As long 6 to 8 does have to be accompanied by an adult. The actual true dollar amount is like $13, $14. 1 token is about $3.25, and you can purchase at any location with a kiosk. Yeah.
All right.
So
It's a really cool opportunity to come and visit these endangered species, especially since you're not really going to find anything like this in the U.S. So.
Do they differ other than color from the red ruffed?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my favorite question. So these guys, it's little differences, right? So weirdly enough, the female black and white ruffed lemurs can actually have like about 4-inch longer tail than the males. Something like that's called sexual dimorphism. So anything that makes them different than a boy or girl. So think lion to lioness. Lions have the mane, lionesses don't, all that good stuff, right? These guys also don't have, well, they have a white, but obviously color. And then obviously where they live. So a little bit of life differences. These guys stash parent, which they have different nests located around their territory. These guys are fairly territorial as well. The red ruffs don't really do that as much. So the black and whites can have up to 15, 17 stash nesting. The reds can have up to maybe 5. It's pretty cool. Excuse you.
So we are going to go ahead and pick our winner. It is going to be Shelby Greenwood.
Well, congratulations,
Shelby.
Our Facebook admin will be getting with you directly after this. We look forward to seeing you here at the San Antonio Aquarium. Until then, take care.